So every fourth Monday of the month and every second Saturday, we are doing a Rayid exploration, which is an open forum to discuss all topics in the Rayid world. We've discussed the birth order of the month. Last month we talked about the one girl and what that means, but also how we have to progress to all the different birth order positions. We also focused this last session on the importance of looking at body ailments and body systems to determine what might be going on emotionally and how we can heal it. So I shared about a pretty traumatic experience that had just happened to me that day, which was getting bit by a dog. So I had to really look at, okay, I got bit by a dog and the dog didn't let go. He just hung on for a few seconds, so they had to get him off me. So that's a one girl attribute of holding on. So of course, then I have to look at what am I holding on to? And then I looked at where it occurred. So it occurred on my left leg. So the left leg corresponds to mother's side of the family, females. So where are there yapping dogs on that side of the family? And or where have I been bit and allowed it? So of course there was like 10 people in the room. So why did the dog bite me? I have to take personal responsibility for that law of attraction. And that's the work, is to, ask for the truth. Show me the truth about this dog bite and everything like it that I've ever experienced. I really want to know the truth, and I want to be able to change that for myself, for my family, and for all of humanity. I could also look at exactly where the dog bite was. So every part of the body is actually holographic. So from the bottom of the face to the top of the face, you can look at it from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So same thing with the arm, the different parts of the arm will be the 6 birth order positions. Where it occurred on my leg, I'd have to look at from where it occurred, it was really in the 3-4. So that 3-4 is about the 3 girl, 4 girl, and also 3 boy, 4 boy. So you're going to look at both of those opposite sides. Even though it was on my left leg, I have to look at, so what is this saying about community? What is it saying about sharing of resources? What is it also saying about that heart space? How am I relating to others? How are others relating to me? So I had to really look at, okay, am I holding on where I shouldn't be? Am I looking at, have I not had great boundaries or not been careful about who I'm around? Or are there places or people that aren't healthy for me that I've kind of allowed in? So it's really about just not blaming the dog or anyone else. It's about really looking at, so why did the dog pick me? What lesson is there here for me? So again, it was a lot of work around looking at, what are my relationships, particularly with women? What are the relationships on that mother's side of the family? And how can I be more loving to myself and to others? And how I can, the messages I got were really about having clear boundaries. It happened just as I was walking through the door, so that's kind of going through a threshold. That's also moving into another space. So I have to look at, how do I handle myself when I come in the door? And how do other people treat me? And if it's not a welcoming place, then I need to back off and say, I need to let go. I need to go be with myself, feel my own feelings, and not be in a space that's not as welcoming for me. So it was really an interesting place to look at, and I had to look at many relationships in my family tree, as well as asking for guidance in terms of how to relate to even those that are very close, including my own daughters and my mother and my own sisters. I was at the home of somebody that was like a sister, so I had to look at that reflection as well. So that was one of the things that we talked about. And we also shared two other examples. Somebody else that had some feelings around the one girl energy of coming into the family and going back home for a visit. And it brought up feelings of not feeling included or not feeling wanted. So there was some parallel and reflection to my own issues. So anybody that comes in your field, whether it's a friend, a family member, even a client, you can look at it as, what is there here for me as well? So looking at that, her own feelings about not feeling included is really just about working with that and feeling those feelings. Okay, what can I let go of, and why am I feeling those feelings, and are they true? That's another really important thing to look at, is what's the truth about this. And if we can do that, then anything that happens, even if it's a traumatic dog bite, it's now an opportunity as opposed to the trauma. And very often those traumas can stick with you. So Denny will say that you have 3 days where it's oscillating in your field. So keep asking the questions. Keep asking for more guidance, more support, more understanding about what was happening. A third person on the call had a fall climbing up on a ladder. So a fall is very much a 6 boy, because 6 boy will break bones. It's a very powerful position. So if something like that is happening, you can look at, where am I throwing around power that I shouldn't be, or where are there power struggles that I'm engaged with that I shouldn't be engaged with, or where am I not using my power effectively? And then looking at where the injury was. So it was on the shoulder. So if you're climbing a ladder and then having an injury on your shoulder, you really have to look at, are you shouldering too much? Are you not feeling supported? So those were some of the questions that we looked at from the standpoint of just 3 events that occurred with some of the people on the call. And that's kind of how the Rayid system and the Rayid exploration works, is bring your questions, bring your queries in terms of your own experiences, your client experiences, and it's about exploring how to use this work, how to have more understanding for yourself, for others, and ultimately how to progress and heal, how to use all of our opportunities, not for the poor me, but for the, how can I bring more peace, more harmony, more love to this situation? And how can I help others through my understanding? How can I be a better person from this work? So please join us for our next one this Monday night.